Say level up. I can't hear you no. Say level up. All right. So many people would have eaten a while ago, so niggeritis is kicking. So you want to stand up and give me a stretch and then shout out level up? All right. I have a prize for you because I don't see nobody else get up. All right. All right. All right. I can't see over there. No, the light is blinding me. Yes, they are blinding up here. All right, so let us begin. All right, this is not working. Yeah, I did. It's not.
Am I supposed to turn it? It's on.
It's on, but it's not working. Rowan? Huh? Point it to the laptop.
Oh, what?
Rowan, I'm pointing to the laptop, you know, sir. All right. No, it's still not working. All right, so a little bit about the Companies Office of Jamaica. We are an executive agency under the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce, who is a partner for our PPC initiative. So we have two office locations, one in Montego Bay, in which I'm the branch manager for, and the other one in New Kingston. Rowan, you're not working with me, no, sir. All right, go back. All right, so the most important investment you can make is in yourself. And this is a quote by Warren Buffett. And the fact that you are here today shows that you are investing in yourself and you are investing in accelerated learning. So when you operate a business or when you start a business, it's like going through a maze. There are going to be obstacles, there's going to be challenges, there's going to be ups and downs. Case in point, the hurricane that just went. Many businesses were destroyed, but guess what? We Jamaicans, we are resilient. And you are here today to show that level of resilience. So the aim is to keep going, no matter what challenges, no matter what obstacles you may face. The aim is to what? I can't hear you. Thank you, my resilient entrepreneurs. So, the Companies Office of Jamaica, we are here to deal with registration as well as compliance. So, when you come to the Companies Office of Jamaica, the first thing you have to think about is that you're going to be registering. And upon registration, what is then required of you? So, when you are starting a business, you have to think about what is in it for me. Why am I investing? How am I going to benefit from operating as well as registering with the Companies Office of Jamaica? One, you are actually legal in order to operate. You are able to open a business bank account and access government loans as well as grants. You have access even to the PPC portal as it relates to these workshops that have been put on just for you. Your entity is listed on the Companies Office of Jamaica website, which is accessible globally. So when it is that you are operating and you are trading and you want somebody to invest in your business on your company, they can go onto the COJ website to see if you are actually registered, to see if you are actually legitimate. So we're going to move right into who needs to be registered. Once you are operating from an established place of business, you must be registered with us. Once you are operating from a name other than your birth name, you must be registered with us. Once you have a limited liability company and you have a trading as name, that name must also be registered with us. Who don't need to be registered? If you are operating in the market and you pay market fees, and you're operating in that stall, it's not mandatory for you to come to us to be registered because you are paying the parish council your fees. If it's a case whereby you are a farmer, then it's not mandatory for you to be registered with us because you can go directly through RADA and have the registration completed. If you have a charity and you are operating just for social welfare purposes, you don't have to be registered, though we're not going to turn you back and tell you don't come to us, because remember, we're an executive agency. But you can go directly through the Department of Cooperatives and Friendly Societies in order to be registered as an unincorporated entity or a benevolent society. So we're going to start now with the first type of structure, which is a small business. This is where a sole trader as well as a partnership of 2 to 20 persons, right? However, in relation to the small business, this is not a separate legal entity. So therefore, anything that happens under the business, your personal assets are at stake. And if it's a case whereby you have a partnership agreement or a partner that you're operating with, and there's a squabble and there's a fall apart, then unfortunately, that's the end of the business right there, because one person can say, you know what, I don't want to be in this arrangement with you. Right? And then once that takes place, that partnership is now dissolved, and as such, you'd have to close the partnership and reopen as a sole trader. What do you need to register a small business? Your ID, TRN, proof of home address, the business registration form, as well as if you are a non-CARICOM national, you need a work permit. If you are providing professional services, pest control, beauty, barber, as well as attorneys, doctors, those requisite certifications and license must be presented upon registration as well. And remember, the cost is how much? $2,500 to register. Only how much? $2,500. If you are operating from Montego Bay, and you indicated to us that I'm operating from Duke Street, and you're no longer operating from Duke Street and you change location, you need to come to us and let us know that I'm no longer operating at Duke Street and now gone down to Market Street. Don't just lock the office and then go down to Market Street. If we find it down at Market Street, there is a fine attached to that because you did not let us know. All right? So any change you are making to your business, whether it is to the name, the service you're providing, where you're operating from, or even your own individual name. Ladies, you have gotten married. You need to let us know that you have been married. All right? If you are no longer operating now, you can't just lock the shop and just fling with a certificate. No. You have to come back to us and let us know that I'm no longer operating. Complete the requisite closure form, and the cost is only $600. It's so cheap it be? How much it is? Only $600, correct. So now we are moving into the other type of enterprise. This is the big man show now, all right? So these are the limited liability companies. So this one is incorporated under the Companies Act of 2004. So because it is a limited liability company, it has to be manned and managed by persons we call directors, all right? It is a separate legal entity under law, able to buy a house, buy a car, engage in any form of contractual agreements with anybody, right? And with that being said, this entity, once you're no longer operating, you have to be wound up in accordance with the Companies Act. You can't close door either. So if it's a case whereby you are operating and you're no longer in operation, you know, things happen and things did not go as planned. You need to ensure that you get the auditor's certificate and a letter signed by majority or all of the directors. But before we continue down that line, as it relates to the limited liability company, you have limited liability as the name suggests. Your personal assets, the directors as well as the shareholders, personal assets are protected under the limited liability company. What is the cost? $27,500. You'll need the articles of incorporation, the beneficial owner return form, the business registration form, as well as IDs for all officers of the company. You get a free 90-day TCC when you do the incorporation. Yes, a free 90-day TCC. So it allows you the opportunity, once you have been registered, to just go and open up your business bank account same time along with what the bank requires additional information from you. Right. So once it is that the TCC has expired, then you're going to visit my friend Karen from the tax office to get your updated TCC, right? All right. So remember, the cost for a new company is $27,500. All right. You have now been registered. What is now required of you? You must file an annual return every single year on the birthday of the company. So the incorporation date is the birthday. So every year you must file an annual return. And this is totally different from Karen's annual return. Our annual return captures directors, shareholders, registered address, the company name, that type of information. So you get a 28-day grace period of which to file said return. If you do not file the return within that 28-day grace, then you're going to be faced with a $2,000 late penalty. So the cost for the annual return, profit making, is $5,000 plus $3,000 for the beneficial owner return form. So $8,000 you're paying on the anniversary date of the company. And how much days we give you? 28 days. And if the 28 days pass, you are going to be paying $2,000 late fee for each of those documents. So you could have saved yourself an additional $4,000 if you had just filed it on time, because we give you almost 1 month in order to file the document without incurring a penalty. All right? So we passed there a long time in a row. All right. So we have $2,000 for the late penalty. But you know, there's an additional teeth in that. If you fail to file your annual return and your beneficial owner return, you can be fined up to $5 million. Somebody cough? Yes, $5 million, and you can be struck from the register after a year if you fail to file your annual return and beneficial owner return form. All right? Again. Pass all of that. I want them to take note. All of that. Yes. All right. Yes, so we've gone through the cost to file each of the returns. Yes. Continue. Removal. Yes, we've gone through that. These are the penalties under the law. So please take note. It's very important. So if you are serious about business, then it is prudent for you to get registered with the Companies Office of Jamaica. And please note, new registrations as well as business as well. New registrations for business and companies can be done on our website. Renewals can be done on our website. If you have already filed an annual return and you have not made any changes to the company, status quo annual returns can be filed on our website as well. If you change the company secretary, that also can be filed. If you change the registered address, that can be filed on our website. So there's no need for you to come into the office anymore if you are filing these. All of these can be done on our website, whether you're at the beach, whether you're at home, whether you're overseas. So thank you so much for having me. And I hand over to the next presenter.
Thank you. Good job. The pointer now. Oh, no pointer. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Yes. Mr. I'm waiting for it to come up, ladies and gentlemen, before I run. Can't find mine. It's up. Okay. Good. All right. Good afternoon, especially invited guests. Head of, respective government departments, ladies and gentlemen, colleagues, good afternoon. I'm Richard Campbell. I am somebody said captain, yes. Senior Director, Suppliers Registration Branch of the PPC, and I am all registration, ladies and gentlemen. Next slide, please. All right, so you see the title of the presentation today. It was taken from the first part of the program. And of course, the items I'll be looking at today is, of course, the mandate and function of the Supply Registration Branch, and of course, the legislative framework for the Supply Registration Branch, and of course, we will look at the application process, and this is basically for the MSME using our SRS software, which is a web-based program. Among other things, right? So I'll just go right into it in the interest of time. Right? Okay, so the Public Procurement Commission, of course, was established under the Public Procurement Act of 2015, and of course under Section 9. And of course, the Supply Registration Branch was formed in keeping with the Public Procurement Act of 2015 under Section 11, paragraph C. And the primary function is, of course, to register and classify person, firms, or entities as suppliers, and approved persons, firms, or entities as approved unregistered suppliers. Right? So I know for now we are onto the MSME, and of course that was a part of the registry, the Public Procurement Act 2015, where some special provision will be given to, of course, the micro, small, and medium enterprises to operate in the space. And of course, I'll just skip to the next slide, ladies and gentlemen, because the slides will be made available so you all can review them at some point. Okay, so I'll talk about the supply registration system, which is an online, and can I see a show of hands of those who are already registered on this platform? All right, excellent. I see a few. I would love for all of you inside here to be on that platform. And of course, the registration system, it's online. Everything is done online. So you'll get the opportunity to upload, the relevant documents that are required for your registration. All right. So we can move to the next slide. Yes. All right. So as it is now, the current registers maintained by the PPC. We have goods and general services other than consulting services. And I always get this question. Somebody called me as an architect. Oh, I need to get registered. No, you don't need to be registered. An accountant called me to say, do I need PPC to participate in this procurement? No. So the consultants, so if you're an engineer, architect, quantity surveyor, land surveyor, lawyer, doctor, you don't need PPC to participate in procurements that you would have seen pop up in your email or on your profile on the GoJet platform. However, if you're into IT, you need to have a registration with the PPC to participate in those procurements. If you are a valuer, if you do a loss adjuster, you need to register with the PPC in order to, participate in those procurements, especially if it falls outside of the threshold. We know 3 million for goods and general services and 5 million for work. So you need to be registered. Only for those 3 consultancy profession that I've just mentioned, right? If you're a project manager, you don't need to be registered with the PPC to participate in procurement opportunities from GOJ. All right, so the supply of goods and general services, of course, we have there 71 categories. Suppliers of works, we have 34. And for the goods and services, for works 5, we have 12. So the MSMEs, you can operate in the goods and general services other than consulting services and the works. So that is open to MSMEs. I'll just speak briefly about the grade 5. The grade 5, these are for artisans. So you don't necessarily need to have, you don't need to have a business. You just need to have your qualification from a technical school, maybe, Hart NSTA Trust, or you graduate from, those technical schools, technical high schools from before, and you may finish, and you do carpentry, masonry, painting, welding, etc. But, we find that those numbers have reduced significantly with respect to registration because you can operate, under $5 million, you don't need to come to the PPC for registration. But if you want to earn, far greater than the 5 million, then of course it's recommended to you that you register a business, partnership, or limited liability company so you can participate in higher procurement opportunities. All right, so I'll move to the next slide. The next slide. All right, so getting down to the meat of the matter now, the MSME registry, the purpose and policy and context of the MSME registry. The project aims to create a verified MSME list by the end of July this month. And of course, it will be online and have a snippet of what, for those of you who are familiar with the PPC website and how you look for your company if you're registered on the system, I'll just indicate to you that this will be the look and feel of when you go on the website to look, or check on your colleagues' company if they're on the MSME list. Right, so I'll move to the next slide quickly. Okay, so the purpose and timeline. So the name of the project was, of course, the MSME integration project. And of course, we have purpose and policy and context for the MSME registry. And of course, we want the project, the aim is to create a verified list of MSMEs. So what we find is that currently the MSMEs are lumped with all the suppliers, right? So we want to pull you away from it. You can still remain in the main registry, but we want to pull you away, so we have a designated list of MSMEs. So any procuring entity under the set-asides can go and see all these persons who are so registered in the procurement opportunity they are putting out to tender, and of course allow all of you to participate. I don't know how they'll work that out because I understand there are many of you, but something will work out. All right, so moving quickly, the purpose and policy context of the MSME registry. Of course, the project aims to create a verified list, as I've indicated, and we hope to have that up and running by the end of the month. So the strategic approach, we're leveraging existing system for rapid implementation. So we have the SRS, right, which is supplier registration system, the online system. So I will show you, I'll move to, and then I can always go back. Okay, so we have created an MSME verification form, right? And this is the look and feel of it. Can you skip to that, please? MSME verification form, I think it's Continue, I'll tell you when to stop. Go, go, go. Yes, all right. So this is the form, ladies and gentlemen. So it's a simple form. I did a quick input some information in one for you to see. So you put the name of the business, of course, the TRN, and some other relevant information. And on, of course, you'll indicate the owners, and of course, there's a tab in the SRS, which is this one that will require you to, complete. For those who are currently in the system, you would have had that information in already. We'll just pull it. And for those who are new, we will ask you to enter it. But we'll give you all the guidance you need, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so we can go back to the slide. I want to tell you what the requirements are. So if you go on minimum requirements for the MSME registration, so can you skip? One more. Yes. Okay, yes, it may look intimidating. Right? But ladies and gentlemen, if you had seen what it was before, for those of you who would have registered already. So it's just, all right, so for the micro, right, for the goods and services, of course, we need to be able to, for you to fill out the form I showed you previously. Of course, you need TCC, Certificate of Registration, Incorporation, whatever your company is, because you're a micro. So we are saying, at a micro, you're operating 0 to 15 million. Right, so anything below that, you're a micro enterprise. Right, we need GCT, academic qualification where it is required, income statement. So this income statement is something that will be generated by the owner of the business, the director, or somebody who knows about accounting, and you provide that information and it will be entered in the system. Right, so normally if you're a new entity, we'll do a physical verification of your place of business. It's at the commissioner's discretion, so they will decide on what they will do with that one. They're leaning more to, put it somewhere. I'm not sure they can get rid of it, but they're thinking about putting it somewhere. So okay, so the works, ladies and gentlemen, we just ask for maybe one additional item, right? So we are going to need completed projects because the information in the system, it requires completed projects in order to calculate a grade for you, right? So as a micro, as I say, you probably can only operate at the grade 4 level because grade 3 is in the 20 million. But I mean, you can always go up, right? Can you go to the next slide quickly, please? We look at the small now. All right, so the small, I mean, everything remains the same except for the goods and services, ladies and gentlemen, the audited financial statement. I say small, not medium. Can you go back one? Yes, good. Okay, so for the small enterprise, your income will be between 15 million to 75 million. According to the schedule in the Companies Act, if your income is 40 million and above, you need to provide audited financial statement. There are 2 other criteria, but this is the one we normally lean on because this is the one we can verify as best as possible. So your balance sheet must have 30 million or above, and your income is 40 million or above. And usually, the two operate together. So we need audited financial statement. Anything below the 40 million, ladies and gentlemen, as income, you can produce an unaudited financial statement. Right? And that's the only thing that would have changed for the small. The medium, sorry, we can go to the medium. So the medium enterprise, ladies and gentlemen, the main thing that has changed is the audited financial statement. You need to have audited financial statement because the designation for medium company is above 75 million to 425 million. So you definitely have to provide audited financial statement. And as with the works, we have included the projects. Next. To the next. All right, so we do that one already. Okay, so these are those other pages in the, yes, good. All right, so the end-to-end MSME verification workflow. So you submit your documents online, and of course, we'll give you some guidance, and hopefully if some of you are able to, we'll be able to, walk you through that right now, physically with your laptop or on your phone, if that's possible. And of course, when it is submitted, of course, we have the technical assessment and, of course, supervisory approval. I mean, all approval, must come from the board of directors, the board of commissioners, I beg your pardon. So when you submit all the 7 or 8 requirements, of course, we present it to the Board of Commissioners, they approve it, and of course, you'll be on the list. Next. All right, so I do a quick little workflow here. Of course, you registered business, partnership, etc. You register on the GoJet platform, so I'll ask all of you who are not yet registered on the GoJet platform, the next presenter will hint at it. I mean, because we are the PPC, we don't do the GoJet platform, but I know we have a representative here from the Ministry of Finance who can give some assistance to that. And of course, the supporting documents as indicated in the slide before, or previous slides, the MSME requirement, and of course the designation will happen with respect to your income. All right, next. All right, so the registry, and as I say, I have a sample of what it will look like. It will keep, of course, for the public, your name and the parish classification, eligibility status, and of course access level, public. Internally, we restrict your information, turnover data, etc. That remains with the PPC. That doesn't leave the PPC. Only we at the PPC can see that information. Next. All right, so standardized tags will be assigned on your certificates when you print it. That's the aim. So of course, verified micro enterprise clearly indicated on your certificate. So in the list, when the PEs access that list, then of course they'll be able to see your tag or designation, and of course you'll have access to the set-asides, etc. Right? And you see the respective tags, and that will be throughout the registration process. Next slide, please. All right, so for those of you who are familiar with the PPC website, when you're looking for a supplier or looking if your company is registered, then you'll go to, I mean, it's kind of fuzzy now, I beg your pardon, ladies and gentlemen, but of course, you'll be able to search, you'll be able to download the list of, maybe your classification. See, for example, this company, and please don't take a picture of the name. The name of the company is there, of course, where they are from, and of course, it gives what their category is, and this is a goods and services. For works, you will see the category and the grades. So that's what we need. We'll have a separate registry just for the MSMEs. All right, next slide. All right, so the public access and website publication strategy, of course, transparency and accessibility, because we will have it out there to the public for everybody to see. They can download. Of course, interim publication continued. So we'll continue to update the list as new persons become eligible to be on the list. And when the system, because the registration period is now 36 months. So when the 36 months comes, of course, you'll get some notification through the system that you are about to expire. You need to, do whatever to get back on the list. So we will continue to do that with you, ladies and gentlemen, and to ensure that you have a constant presence on the list of MSMEs. Next slide. All right, so the long-term vision, a fully automated MSME registry. All right, so we will constantly review, what we have, and of course, we know, everybody knows now about AI, ChatGPT, Pilot, and all those fancy names. Our intention is to have some AI in the process so that you can do everything you need to do in 24 hours, and that's the aim, right? So we're looking in that direction. So we'll continue to review the process, review, of course, our link to the other government entities, for example, the Companies Office of Jamaica, the Tax Office, or those places, and which other agency we need to link to, because a number of the prerequisite for your registration. For example, if you're doing food, catering, we need your food handler's permit. We need, the health department has to come to your place though, but I mean, that certificate will be made available on the system through an API where we can verify it and cut down the number of steps that you take for registration. So we're working on that, ladies and gentlemen. Next slide. All right, so in conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, I hope I haven't gone over my time. The PPC aims to increase the number of suppliers, and that is both MSMEs and, of course, the persons who who don't want to be on the MSME register. But we'll continue to do that, and we hope that we'll get as many persons, length and breadth of Jamaica, because the 20% is a big sum, and I will encourage everyone here to have what you call it now, a ticket or a horse in the race, or, you know, in a matter of speaking. So I'll encourage you all. We are here to assist you. So whatever we can do today, if we can get on the GoJ platform, if that's what you can do today, and or if you can start the registration process with us today, we'll help you with that, ladies and gentlemen. Next slide. I think that's it. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. And I hope I've given you some information that will assist you. Thank you.
All right, hearing me now? Yes, I'm saying, or two presenters. We had two presenters that introduced the first one. The second one was Captain Richard Campbell, who is the Senior Director of the Suppliers Registration Branch with the Public Procurement Commission. And coming up, we're going to be having another person from his branch, who is Mr. Darren Black, and he's an industrial engineer. He has served as our technical support officer, and he now serves as a technical officer in the Suppliers Registration Branch. But before Darren comes to us, I have two questions. I hope you are listening keenly. In terms of Companies Office of Jamaica, where we had presentation from Ms. Tony-Ann Alexander, she made reference, I don't want anybody shouting it out, just come to the podium. She made reference to the fees for registering a company and the fees for registering with the Companies Office of Jamaica. So if you can tell me, it's two questions, so somebody else can win something else as well. Oh, you're trying again? Okay, my lady.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Tamika Stewart. My business is TMS Learning Management Consultancy. And what else am I supposed to share? Oh, I am from St. James. Which one? Could you repeat them for me, please? I have a choice. I get a pick. Mm-hmm.
What is the fee for registering a company? You want to take that one on?
What is the fee for registering a company? What's the other one? Oh, wow. So, okay.
All right, so you're going to have a shot, or what is the fee of just registering with the Companies Office?
First registration. I believe, well, so I know, $5,000. It's not?
Sorry. All right, so we go to somebody else. You can try again. You have to tell us the details, right?
All right, good day. I am Fenton Folks, Director of Romaine Glamour, Welding and Construction Limited. Oh, St. Catherine. Yes.
All right, so which one is the question?
The fees for registering a new company, $2,500. I think it's 2,500 for a sole trader, 25,000 for a limited liability.
Hold on.
There she is.
We don't want anybody shouting out. It's Tony and Alexander. Could you come on? All right, so the line is long.
So, no, carry clarify the answer?
You don't want to answer that question? No, not sure. All right, so you can go that way. You can go that way. I'll ask a question. All right, which one you going to, well, tell me about yourself and then which one of the questions you want to answer?
All right, the one where if you register the company and my...
Okay, all right. Tell me your name and...
All right, so my name is Aziz Watson from Kemboss Enterprise. We sell cleaning products and them something there. Nice thing.
Which parish?
St. James. St. James.
I can hear. So which one are you taking on now?
The one if you register the company.
All right, go ahead. How much you register company?
It's 27,500. 27,500.
All right. Can I have somebody, Ms. Leon, you want to make that presentation?
Yes, Mr. Leon. I'm going to make that presentation.
We have a rep from company's office. I'd rather you make the presentation.
That is right.
We'll have other questions.
And today a star was born.
I think we should ask another question. You want to ask the other question again?
So you got the new company?
Yeah, no, if you register the company.
That's his one. All right. All right, and I was told to ask the next question. Dude, please no bum rush me. All right. So because the other question was misanswered, let me go with, I remember you have to get a full answer. What is the cost to file an annual return for a profit-making company? I have to come up and answer. Remember, you have to get the full answer. I don't see you coming in, No, that's not the one you answered. Come on, cheer them on. They're going to try. Come on, cheer them on. All right. Come, line up. Everybody line up. All right. So what is the cost? I know the blurt out answer now. What is the cost, the full cost, to file an annual return for a profit-making entity?
$5,000.
No, continue. Yes, you're skipping line.
$9,000.
No. All right, I'm going to say, ready?
$8,000.
Correct, $8,000. Give her a round of applause. That's it.
Thank you. Okay, that was fun. I hope people continue to pay attention to the presentations. There are other prizes to be won. So, Mr. Black, could you come to us now? And then after Mr. Black, Mr. Jovel Barrett, Chief Public Policy Officer, Chief Procurement, or did I get it right first? Chief Public Procurement Policy Officer with the Office of the Public Procurement Policy in the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service. He will follow. Mr. Barrett is an attorney at law, and he has expertise in procurement law. Over to Mr. Black now.
Thank you, Erica. Good afternoon again. I see we're having a bit of fun. Many more prizes to be won, so, well, I won't ask any questions. I'm too hard still. I'm mark hard. All right, but, so, Sir Campbell would have mentioned it earlier, where we're now in the process of, well, for you guys, MSME guys, we're trying to do some things different, so to make the process a bit easier. So one of the things that I will show you here today is what registration looks like for suppliers like yourself. Earlier, when you asked the question about who was already introduced to GoJeb, can I see about those hands, please? Number small, man. Number small. All right, so hopefully by the end of this session, you will all have a better understanding of how to do it and then actually do it, so we can help you get some of these big funds that are being promised, right? So the very first thing is that the URL, all right, the URL is gojep.gov.jm, gojep.gov.jm. So when you go there for the first time, you're going to be seeing an option on the screen. If you look on my screen here, top left, the third option, register as a supplier. Now, it means what it means, which is this is the process to be registered as a supplier. But some people will do this and think that they're PPC registered, which is not the case. So I just want to be clear that this is simply to create an account to use the GoJeb platform, right? So when you click on that option, the very first thing you're going to see is what you're seeing on screen now, which is register the supplier, which involves, this is step 1, by the way, of 3. So we're just seeing information about the company or the business, right? So the organization name, an abbreviation, the organization type, the country of registration, the address, contact information. Now I'm highlighting those in particular because if you can see they have a red asterisk beside them, those are mandatory. Those are the only ones you need to complete to be able to move on to the next step. So after you've done that, then we will click validate and continue. Next slide. This is what we're going to be seeing, and this one is particularly important to you guys. CPV, Common Procurement Vocabulary Codes. What this means is whatever you select here, and of course you can change it later on, but whatever you select here, what it means is that when a tender or a procurement opportunity comes out with that code attached, you will be alerted. That's all it means. So if you're not someone who sits on the platform every day looking at opportunities that you can partake in, you can just simply set up the codes, and when the tenders come out, you will be alerted via email. That's it. That's all it means. Step 3, and then this is the final stage in creating that user account, which is the user or the super user for the organization. You'll be able to set some a security question and answer. You'll be able to determine the username and the password, and enter some information about, contact information about that person. Now, what I would say here when you're doing it, when you get to step 3, before you press finish, I would recommend that you just take a screenshot or have some record of the information that you've entered here. It might help you later going on, right? Because if you forget the password or you forget some sort of login information, then you're on a waiting list to go, let me not say that. You're going to have to reach out to the relevant authorities, and you're going to have to wait some time for them to clear that up, right? But Sir Barty can not show no words still. But yes, so this is where you would create that user password, and then you can click finish. Now, after the profile has been verified by the GoJeb administrators, now this is where the work begins, the PPC application. So moving on to the next slide. So we call this the PPC profile. This is a bit more detailed information about the business or the company. You're seeing some blue tabs at the top. You're seeing 6 of them, but we're focusing on 5. General, operational, financial, projects, personnel. The 2 or 3 most important ones: general, financial, and personnel. Now, they're all mandatory, but those 3 are critical for you guys as the MSME sector players. The general, we'll be seeing where some of the information is carried over from the initial user account setup, but you have a few more fields that are mandatory that you just have to enter. And I can't stress that enough. We will get correspondence, usually phone calls from suppliers or prospective suppliers who want to proceed to submit an application to us, but the system is giving them an error. The PPC profile is incomplete. And now you ask them the question, are you sure you completed the profile? Of course, the answer is yes. And then we say, all right, let's walk through it now. Before we even reach too far, they've mentioned something to you, or you can see for yourself that these fields are missing, right? So let us be aware of that. All the mandatory fields are required. They're mandatory for a reason. So this is the general stage. So we're moving on to operational. So the mandatory space, the mandatory fields here are full-time employees and part-time employees. You're not seeing it in the screenshot because there was some editing done to it, right? So those are blurred out. But the full-time employees and the part-time employees values are very critical to the MSME sector and determining your eligibility for that sector. So we have to ensure that all of that information is entered. All right, tip, the subsections of associated organizations and so on, you don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. I'm telling you, you don't have to do it. If you want to do it, then that's fine, but it won't necessarily help or break your case, right? So moving on to the next step, which is financial. Critical, one of the 3 critical ones. Remember, the top subsection is annual financial. This is where you will be allowed to enter the information about your financial health as a company or business. This information will be verified by us, will be verified. So I would encourage you not to enter anything facetious or just to make yourself look a bit more appealing. We have to verify that information. And we will ask for the documentation. Well, we might not even ask for the documentation. We have other access elsewhere. But anywho, so the annual financial section, you enter the details from your financial statements or your income statement or so on and so forth. And then the financial institution, that's another subsection, we have to complete that as well, which is where the bank or the other approved financial institution that the business or company has an account with, and they do their transactions through. So the next section is projects. All right, this primarily caters to the works suppliers, as the name suggests, projects. That's more commonly used in the construction industry or work sector regardless. But a project for a goods and services supplier is just simply any instance of you satisfying an order for a client. So don't think about it too much. So you can literally just pick up a purchase order, enter the information of that PO, and then that would be constituted as a project, right? But that information, of course, is necessary, particularly so for works, but still relevant for the goods and services suppliers. Now moving on to the last one, which is personnel. Of course, there's going to be a focus on the MSME registration process where we need to know who the owners are and stretching as far back to the beneficial ownership. So this is where, at the very least, and of course you'll be instructed to make amendments later on if needed, but we need to ensure all of the director information, all of the ownership information is entered here, right? And now that's us completing the 5 steps of the PPC profile. I just did it in, 10 minutes, probably could have been less, but it's not as hard as we think it is sometimes. Just focus on the mandatory fields and what I've mentioned here. You can always go back and watch the live stream to see what I've highlighted. But this is the PPC profile now complete. Now we can move on to submitting an application or attempting to submit an application to the PPC, which is what we're going to be seeing here on this screen. Now the first thing you see is red, right? That is important. That color was deliberately chosen because we want you to really see it and understand it. And of course, you need to read it as well. The very first, there's a revised edition of it, but the last point in that list says, please upload certified copies of all original documents. And I'm going to repeat that. Please upload certified copies of all original documents. Now, the process was once a paper-based system under the OCG, IC Integrity Commission, so on. But the PPC, it's now an online process, a digital process. So some of the documents that you have, for example, you get documents from the company's office or from the TAJ that we as officers in the office, we will never see it with our own eyes. So we're just asking for an extra layer of security by going to a JP, making a copy of the document and having the JP certified, sealed, signed, and dated as a copy of the original. This is a common limitation in application processing. They will upload the documents, they won't be notarized, and now we have to ask you to go and get it notarized and then come back, which adds some time to the processing, right? But I can't stress that enough. Just ensure that any original documents that you have, you upload certified copies of them from the get-go. And if you're not sure, you can always call us and ask us if XYZ is an original document and if it needs to be certified. Now, the list that you're seeing here is not the list that everyone will see. Once you select the registration type and the categories that you're applying for, the system will give you a quote-unquote tailored list specific to those categories. For example, someone might want to apply for a category by the name of transportation and haulage, and there are several subsectors, but one of the more common ones is garbage collection. Of course, you need to give us motor vehicle documents for the vehicle, because not only will we come out and verify the truck as operational, but we need to ensure that your documentation with other partnering agencies are up to par. Right? Insurance, the public carrier's license, the registration and the fitness. Right? But the point is, the list that will be presented will be tailored to the categories that you're applying for. Another category, a fairly common one, catering or canteen concessionary services. You will need a valid food handler's permit. There's no two ways around it. You need a valid food handler's permit but you will also need, if you do catering, a public health certificate, which means that you're operating out of a space that has been verified and certified by the Ministry of Health, the relevant team in the Ministry of Health, right? But this is what you will see right before you're able to send off an application to us. Now, I can't demonstrate it live, but what you will notice when you're doing it, at the end of each bullet point, there's a notation, please upload here, with the here being underlined. That's the link to upload that specific requirement. So you will have to scan the document and then have it on your computer so you can upload it. And every time you upload to a bullet point, the list gets smaller and smaller because it's removed. So eventually, this red will be no more. And at that point in time, you can move on to the next stage, which is what we're seeing there as generate application report and save, which is you actually submitting an application. And I've seen cases, a lot of cases, where suppliers, they clear the red message and they think that everything is fine. A few months later, they call us and say, okay, I'm checking on the status of an application. And you ask some questions and you find out, yeah, I can see you uploaded documents, but I'm not seeing an application. So you there thinking that we're wasting your time. There was nothing for us to look at, right? So let us ensure that when we upload the documents, we click that button, and then after that, you're going to get another screen, this one a bit better, which is in green, confirming that the application was submitted. And that would be the end of the application process, in terms of you submitting the initial application, that is. Now, after that, we have a standard time frame. Well, we're working on reducing that still, but the standard time frame is 3 to 4 weeks based on our ISO commitments. According to the legislation, we have up to 8 weeks, but we work very well in the 3-week margin. So we try to review, get feedback to you, get your amended documentation back, and then close out the transaction. Well, the process ends with you getting the certificate, by the way. So the Board of Commissioners will approve, and you get the certificate. That's the end of the process. But all of that, we've been doing very well in maintaining that strict processing time of below 3 weeks. Yes. Okay. So that would be the end of my presentation. And of course, we have a booth on the outside. You have our contact information. If you're having any difficulties with any part of this process, you can reach out to us, and we can help you to pick up where you left off and then get you to the application processing stage. Right? So, James King. Oh, straight. All right, so we're going to welcome Sir Jovel Barrett to the stage, please.
Thank you. All right, good afternoon, everybody. All right, so my name is Jovel Barrett. I'm the Chief Public Procurement Policy Officer at the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service. Now, my presentation today is about advancing the implementation of the public procurement set-asides framework. When I took over the job as Chief Public Procurement Policy Officer last year, Monday will make a year, one of the things that I saw as something that I needed to do was to ensure that we get moving on the MSME set-asides, because I believe that it is important for us to get that done because small businesses are the engine of any economy. Now, the Public Procurement Act sets out a number of objectives that it wants for us to achieve. And those objectives include achieving value for money, maintaining transparency, fairness, accountability. Section 5 tells us that we need to be promoting economic development through public procurement. We need to be promoting integrity and engendering public confidence in the public procurement system. And we need to be encouraging public participation in public procurement. And we need to encourage national growth by enabling the participation of micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises. So from the beginning, the objective of the Act was to ensure that we are developing small businesses. And we are now making concrete steps towards achieving that objective outlined in the Act. Now, I know many of you here are perhaps small businesses. Some are micro, some are medium. But for the micro enterprises, you're not always going to remain micro. We want you to grow into small and then grow into medium and then grow into large. And so it is important for you to ensure that you understand the procurement system generally so that you know how best to participate in it. And one of the key things for you to know is that generally the Act requires that open competition should be the general standard unless you are permitted by the Act to restrict competition. And when I talk about restrict competition, we're talking about single source. So an entity who may have a small procurement to do, they may be able to do a single source procurement. At a higher level, they may be able to do a restricted competition, so they may request bids from 3 persons to participate. So you need to know the rules around at what values you can do single source, at what values you can do a restricted competition. And at these levels, single source, restricted, if an entity does not know who you are, then they won't know to invite you. And so that is why the registration process and having a list of verified MSMEs is important. Because for micro enterprises, the values involved are values that an entity can do a single source or restricted competition. And so having that list is essential, and that is why we're working with the PPC to ensure that we have that list available so that procuring entities across the country can see who the verified MSME entities are. So, next slide. Next slide. Right. Now, for works procurement, we're going to start from the bottom, go up to the top. Procuring entities are able to do a single source or request for quotations for procurements up to 5 million Jamaican dollars. Right? Above 5 million, but less than $40 million, they can do restricted bidding. And above 40 million to 150 million, they do national competitive bidding. So it is very, very important for us to have that verified list so that the micro, small, and medium-sized enterprise who mostly will compete in the restricted competition category are visible to the procuring entities. And it's a similar table for the goods and services. If you go to the next slide. Sorry. Right. It's a similar thing for the goods and services, except for that for single source, the amount is 3 million Jamaican dollars. Right? Now, one of the key things that you should know is that the law requires that in order to participate and submit bids in public procurement, you need to be registered with the Public Procurement Commission. Right? The only exception to that is if a procurement is being done by way of a single source below the single source competition threshold, which is $3 million for goods and services and $5 million for works. Otherwise, you need to be registered with the PPC. Now, even though you may not need to be registered with the PPC if you're only doing contracts within the single source competition threshold level, it is important for you to still register so that you can get on the list of verified MSMEs, so that entities can know who you are. Next slide. Now, the government amended the Public Procurement Act and Regulations last year, and they introduced or they clarified the law in certain aspects. One of which is that if you are doing a procurement and the value of the procurement is less than the single source competition threshold, then you do not need a tax compliance certificate, right? And so if you're doing a single source contract or a restricted bidding contract that is less than $3 million for goods and services, you do not need to provide a TCC for that, right? Next slide. Now, generally speaking, we all pay tax, right? And so all of us should have a fair opportunity to participate in public procurement and to be able to earn from the tax dollars that we all pay. And so the law establishes a general rule that you should not discriminate against any supplier. But we're here today to talk about one way in which the law allows us to discriminate, and that is by favoring micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises. So the law establishes a rule that allows us to be able to apply what we call special and differential treatment measures, and the public procurement set-asides order is one of those ways in which we can differentiate suppliers and to favor some suppliers, including MSMEs, right? So the objective of the MSME set-asides order is to encourage participation of Jamaican suppliers in public procurement and increase the capacity of Jamaican suppliers to compete for public procurement contracts and to develop Jamaican industries, right? Now, the public procurement set-asides order establishes categories. We have the micro, the small, and the medium-sized enterprises. Now, it tells us that a micro-enterprise is an enterprise that has total sales not exceeding $15 million, and that not more than 50% of the equity interest is under the ultimate effective control or ultimate ownership of a Jamaican company which is not a micro-enterprise, small enterprise, or medium enterprise. For a small, exceeding 15 million but not exceeding 75 million. For a medium, exceeding 75 million but not exceeding $425 million. Now, some of you may say, why do we care about your ultimate ownership? We really want to get to the Jamaican companies who, the mom and pop, the small, the Jamaican companies, the grassroots Jamaican companies. We don't want the bigger companies to just create a smaller company and benefit, right? We want the truly small, micro, and medium enterprises to benefit. And so that is why we established the requirement to ensure that you're not owned by a large company, or you're not owned by a foreign company. Now, what that means is that you need to provide us with some information to verify that you're not owned by a large company. But one of the things that we are doing, and that is why we have this partnership, is to see how best we can, instead of trying to get all of the information from you, we can get it from company's office, right? In terms of your total sales, we need to verify that you're actually you can go back? We need to verify that you're actually an MSME. So we need to have some financial information for you, right? But as Captain indicated earlier, if you are at the micro level, then we're not requiring you to go get audited financial statements. We know that may be burdensome for you, right? So we will take the unaudited financial statement, we'll take the management accounts, so that we can know that you're not exceeding the threshold for a micro enterprise. So we're making it as simple as possible for you, but we need information. So do not be afraid to provide us with information. It is necessary so that this program can work. Now, because of time, I won't be able to go through the entire presentation, but what I want to say to you is that this is just the first step. We are getting the registration together, getting the system for registration together, getting the list together so that public procurement entities can be able to identify the MSMEs. We're going to be training the procurement practitioners. We're going to be issuing a guidance to them for them to be able to identify who the MSMEs are, the circumstances in which they should be setting aside transactions for the MSMEs. And we're going to be doing all of this. And we expect that by the time next financial year comes, we have a lot more entities setting aside transactions for MSMEs. All right? Now, as Captain and as Darren indicated, most of these activities will happen on the GoJeb platform. You must go on the GoJeb platform, register, see the competitions that are happening there, bid for them. If you have any issues with the GoJeb, you can contact the GoJeb helpline and we'll be able to assist you. Don't stay away from the system and say, oh, it's too difficult. Call us, right? And ask us to help you through the process. That is important. We're taking the necessary steps, and rest assured that the minister will hold me accountable if it is that we do not get this done. And I am intent on getting it done. It was always my top priority, even before the minister asked me about it. All right? And so I will leave it there for today. And I do hope that you are able to get all the information you need to be able to participate in public procurement going forward.
Thank you, Mr. Barrett. Short to the point. I hope he's setting a trend. The other presenters will now follow. I'm going to quickly ask 2 questions, and in the meantime, I'm going to ask Mrs. Karen Doyle Sr. to come forward. She will be giving us, we'll skip over the question and answer here and put it a little further down. She will bring us up to speed on Tax 101 for MSMEs. And Mrs. Doyle Sr. is the Assistant General Manager of the Montego Bay Revenue Service Center. And specifically, she has responsibility for taxpayer service and education with Tax Administration Jamaica. So now we had Mr. Barrett, and prior to Mr. Barrett, we also looked at some supplier registration issues. Now, can someone tell me under the set-asides order, the public procurement set-asides order, What is the limit in terms, when you're considered a micro enterprise, what is the total sales per annum should you not exceed? You have to come here, first come, first serve. Mr. Barrett, stand by to hand out a gift.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Janoy Johnson, representing MP Supplies. So for micro, St. James, for micro, should not be exceeding 15 million.
Mr. Barrett? Could you present her with one of the gifts on the table, please? Why don't you go for Give her a round of applause. And another question now. It has to do with supplier registration. Mr. Campbell or Mr. Black, stand by to give out a gift. I'm going to pull this one now, not from the presentation that just went, but just to see if you were paying attention in the launch. There was an announcement by the executive director, Mrs. Nadia Morris, that the verified registry of MSMEs would be on the PPC website by what date in July? By what date in this month? No shouting out, please. Could somebody come forward? I see. I hope it's not St. James again. I need another parish. St. James? No, man, we need another parish. I'm being fair now. Can we have somebody from Hanover or Trelawney? I haven't heard any Trelawney. Any Trelawney person in the house? Hold on. No, you disqualify because you're a partner. Come. Bye-bye. My phone up here. No, there's a phone that is lost. You left it in the bathroom? Yes. Okay. Just go to the AV desk at the back. Yeah. Westmoreland? Okay. The question is, Mrs. Morris, in her presentation, had said the registry of verified MSMEs will go up this month. By what date this month?
July 31st.
Yes, he's correct. But first of all, hold on. 31st. Yes. Tell us your name.
Name is Timothy Gunter, Netwave Business Solutions Limited.
All right, Mr. Gunter. Trelawney gets something. Okay. Mrs. Doyle, Senior.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. Oh, that sounds much better. It's a pleasure to be here, and I'm here to discuss a guide to taxpayer service for MSMEs. She already introduced me, so I don't have to go through that, but as it relates to MSMEs, we do believe that they play a vital role in driving economic growth, creating employment, and supporting innovation. As business grows, understanding and assessing taxpayer service provided by tax administration has become increasingly important. These services are designed to make it easier for taxpayers to meet their obligation, receive assistance when needed, and interact with tax authority efficiently. The purpose of today's presentation is to provide an overview of the key services available to MSMEs and to demonstrate how these services can simplify tax compliance, save time, and support business operation. So at the end of the presentation, you should be able to understanding the tax compliance certificate process, TCC. When we were at the booth, almost every person who came there asked us about TCC. Understanding the e-registration, the e-services registration, awareness of the services available online and or online payment option. But last but certainly not least, understanding the withholding tax on specified services and the exemption certificate that is associated with that. As we go through the presentation, I want you to think about the services that we offer and how it can help your businesses become more efficient and compliant. So Tony Ann would have gone through this already. The most important takeaway from this is that when you are registered a company at Companies Office of Jamaica, you obtain a TRN. If you are an individual and you go to the Companies Office of Jamaica and you are going to register a trade name, the TRN that's associated with the business would be your individual TRN along with an extension, which is usually 001, 002, depending on how many business name you have. You can continue. So, a tax compliance certificate. What is a TCC? A TCC is essentially a document issued to an individual or an entity that would demonstrate that they have filed all their returns and their payments, and there is no tax liability owing, and everything is up to date. For you to have a TCC, you must have a tax registration number. You must have a TRN. Once you apply for the TCC will be on the main TRN, on the main account. And if you have branches, the TRN will be issued under the main account. Can move on. Okay. A TCC is like a passport to doing business in Jamaica. And if you look at this slide, who needs a TCC? If you are a commercial importer, once you cannot clear your cargo or a motor vehicle with Jamaica Customs without a TCC. As mentioned by the other presenters, for the government contract, you are going to be able, based on the threshold, as he had mentioned, you are going to need a TCC if you are going to enter a bid for a government contract. For those persons who are in regulated industries such as security companies, if you're in the cannabis industry, or you are in the gaming industry, or you are just applying for a road license or a TDP co-license, you are going to be able to determine whether or not you're compliant, to be able to secure a license, and also to renew your operating license. For those persons who are foreigners and want to get a work permit or citizen's application, a TCC is required. To open a bank account, a business account, you are going to need a TCC, and if it is that you're borrowing loans from the financial institution, they need to know that you are compliant before they release the funds. So, as mentioned by Tony and from COJ, once you are newly registered with Companies Office of Jamaica, you will be issued with 3 months, she said 90 days, we're used to the 3 months TCC. But guess what? We are here to serve you even better at TAJ, and guess what? A first-time applicant, once you're approaching TAJ for the very first time, and you are a repeat applicant, and once you have no outstanding tax obligation, you will get a TCC without an interview. Isn't that wonderful? Yeah? You don't agree? Yes, so we have evolved. So once you are compliant, as the name suggests, you have to be compliant. Make sure you file your returns, make sure you have no outstanding obligation. If you do have outstanding obligation, you can visit or I will tell you how you can do that online. You can make a payment arrangement for that to take place. A TCC can be auto-renewed or auto-approved. A TCC can either be for 3 months, 6 months, or 12 months. If it is that you are going to get a TCC for 12 months, which we called a gold TCC, you have to be compliant where you're gonna file and pay your taxes on time for the last 12 months. We can move on. And how do you apply for a TCC? Next slide. Next slide. By registering for e-services, and that is as easy as ABC. First of all, you go onto our website, which is www.jamaicatax.gov.jm. Once you go onto our website, you click on the log on at the top right-hand corner, you create an account, you complete the information, you click on e-services, managing my e-services, you complete the information, and you upload the supporting documents. So just for quick information, if you're an individual, all we need from you is a valid ID. A valid ID could either be your voter's ID, your driver's license, your NIC, which is a national identification card, or your passport. If you are a company or a partnership, either the partner or the director can apply for the e-registration account. All we need from the director or the partner is just their ID. If you are going to select a third party where you are authorizing someone to act on your behalf, we're going to need an authorization letter, which will be signed by a responsible officer, and we are going to need the ID of the authorized officer. So once you are registered on the portal and you have an e-services account, you are able to access these services on our tax portal. You are able to file and pay your taxes. You can generate a payment advice, which you are going to need to do any direct funds transfer, where you are going to request from your bank to transfer from your account to our account. You can request a payment agreement, and once you have debt over $100 million to under $5 million, you can do this arrangement online. You can generate a statement of account. If you want to know what your balance is, you don't have to come to the tax office. You can just simply go online and you can get this information. Apply for your TCC. Apply for a GCT registration. You can submit and validate zero rating documents. This is relevant for charitable organization, educational institution, or entities that are in the special economic zone. We also issue and validate withholding tax certificate. Next slide. You can apply for income tax exemption, apply for withholding tax on specified service, which I'm going to tell you about shortly, request a waiver of penalty and interest. You can self-register your tax account, namely your income tax accounts, your payroll accounts, trade and business license. You can also register for a branch. You can request TRN assignment letter. So if it is that you have lost your TRN card or you forgot it at home and you want to do some transaction at the bank or go anywhere and they need evidence of your TRN, you can go onto your e-services account and get your TRN assignment letter, which will supply you with your number. You can change your address online as well, send and receive messages. If it is that you want to request a tax advisory, you can also do that online. Our online payment option, guess what? You don't have to come wait in the long line at the tax office. You can do it from the comfort of your home once you have connectivity. If you go onto our website, again, www.jamaicatax.gov.jm, you can pay online using your credit card or your debit card with your credit card, or a debit card with credit card functionality. You can do direct funds transfer, where you're transferring funds from any commercial bank to TAJ's bank account. And we have accounts both at NCB and Scotia. Scotiabank customers are able to use the Scotia Online and the mobile app. And for the National Commercial Bank, you can use the bank's online platform for adding by adding TAJ as a payee. Okay, for those persons who are in a list of specified services, which are listed in the third table there, accounting and auditing, all of those. If you are supplying these services to a tax withholding agent, this service is specified by law. And if it is that you are receiving payments from this tax withholding entity, whereas the prescribed threshold of $50,000, they will withhold 3%, a 3% withholding tax. And the service provider, once that is withheld, you can use this to claim as a credit. You can use it as a credit on your income tax account. But guess what? You can seek exemption from this particular tax. And what are the requirements for you to be eligible for an exemption certificate for the WTSS? Is your income tax returns must be filed online, must be filed and be up to date. Your income tax must be paid in full. If you have any outstanding, an approved payment arrangement must be in place. And of course, you submit this application online. And in closing, taxpayer services are intended to make tax administration more accessible, efficient, and responsive to the needs of businesses. By taking advantage of the available services, MSMEs can reduce the time spent on administrative tasks, improve compliance, and focus more on growing your business. We encourage you to explore all the services that we have available, use the digital tool where available, and reach out to us if you need assistance. Because when you seek guidance early, it can prevent serious issues later. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for having me.
Okay, could you give her a round of applause for me, Mrs. Karen Doyle Senior? And she did give us a quick 101 on tax for MSMEs, tax 101 for MSMEs. Our next two speakers are also in the financial industry. The first one is Mr. Jason Ferguson, and the second is Mr. Hopeton Nicholson. I'm going to ask both gentlemen to take their seats up here. So Mr. Ferguson is with the Development Bank of Jamaica. He has been involved with different areas of the financial industry, including MSME lending, responsibility for that at pivotal points. And he is a business development executive with the Development Bank of Jamaica. And our other partner organization, Exim Bank, Mr. Hopeton Nicholson. He is manager of loan origination and business development, particularly with the trade and commercial lending division of Exim Bank. Could you give both men a rousing round of applause? Not seen Mr. Nicholson? So I'm going to ask you to take it away. Afterwards, we have some questions and answers in terms of prizes, but we'll save the question and answer segment till the end of the presentation since we are running behind time. So Mr. Ferguson, you can take it away.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. I am Jason Ferguson. I'm a business development executive at the Development Bank of Jamaica, where we pride ourselves as the business builder. So we're here today to support all MSME operators that are looking to, of course, expand business and grow their performance. So the Development Bank of Jamaica does several things. Okay. All right, so just waiting on the presentation, but in the interest of time, I'll just run it. So the Development Bank of Jamaica, what do we do? The main thing is DBJ is a government-owned institution focused on driving sustainable development and socio-economic growth in Jamaica. Our mission, Development Bank of Jamaica, through its customer-centric approach, provides opportunities to all Jamaicans to improve their quality of life through development financing, capacity building, public-private partnership and privatization, solutions in keeping with government's policies and sustainable development goals. Our vision, by 2030, the DBJ is Latin America and the Caribbean's leading development finance institution that drives sustainable development and contributes to innovation and broad-based socio-economic growth in Jamaica and the region. Okay, what do we do? So a lot of persons hear about DBJ and they say it's a bank, but I don't know anybody with an account over there, right? So DBJ is a bank, but not in the sense of your traditional bank. We are a development bank and we provide our services through what we call our approved financial institutions. Those are your commercial banks, your building societies, your credit unions, your investment houses. And then people hear investment and commercial bank and think, big man. No, we're also here for micro businesses. So we do provide support through microfinance institutions, which are your J and small business, your Access Finance, your regions, your Bull Investments, and these other firms. So DBJ provides support from the micro level all the way up to large companies. So we do three main things. We provide financing. Most of our financing is provided through debt, right? Loans. And we also provide technical assistance. And for those of you who would have heard of or participated in our Gemini program, I just want to say today that look out. The Gemini program Plus is about to be launched for this summer. What is the Gemini program? Now, as entrepreneurs, you have to be the head cook and bottle washer of your operations. But you don't know it all. So DBJ acknowledges this and provides assistance for getting your financial statements, creating marketing plans, going to JBDC to get your business plan sorted out, going to SRC to test your products. We provide funding through grants to aid in that capacity building where you fall short as an entrepreneur. Then there are lower guarantees. A lot of persons will say, hey, I need to get financing, but when I go to the bank, I'm hearing that I need collateral. And to be honest, I started the business and I use my property. And now I need more funding to grow the business, but I have no more collateral. The DBJ has what we call the CEF, the Credit Enhancement Facility, to support those loan requests that would otherwise have fallen short because of a lack of collateral. So again, the three main things that we do: provide financing, technical assistance, and loan guarantees. DBJ generally, for products, will provide up to 90% financing for large company, MSMEs, and up to 70% financing for large companies. We will lend up to 1.5 billion Jamaican dollars to any single entity, or up to 10 million US dollars if it's in USD. But again, don't let the big numbers fool you. If you need 100,000, the DBJ has got you. So we also look at our repayment period. So we have a standard 10-year term, and we have up to 24 months moratorium. So a lot of businesses, you may be bringing in equipment and setting up new infrastructure that won't allow the company to make any money in the first offset. These moratoriums help you to develop those programs without paying a principal payment until you're able to earn and pay those loans. With the outset of Hurricane Melissa, and we're in the West, so a lot of persons can relate to what I'm about to say. Persons were enjoying booming businesses, high revenue businesses, and within one night, that all changed. DBJ, by December of 2025, was able to roll out the M5 Business Recovery Program to assist businesses to refinance. So remember, some of us just took out that loan to get to where we are. But now that we're not making the money, we can't manage to repay the financing. What can we do about that? DB say, okay, we'll allow you to refinance that loan at this lower rate. There are those persons who got minor damage. You have a storefront, water came in, the stock is wet. You just need to change the stock and get going again. We came up with a reboot. So bring it back to business quickly, and then we have rebuild. Those of us who turned up to our businesses and we couldn't find the business. What we built for many years was gone. So all in all, DBJ has up to $50 million in financing under the M5 program, up to 10 years, at a low interest rate of 8%. Now, again, we speak about collateral support. That business may have been the collateral and it's now on the ground. That collateral no longer exists. We have the CEF again to provide that collateral support to back that loan where collateral is required. So the M5 was truly a blessing and has helped a lot of businesses to return to productivity. But just before that, in September, October of 2025, we looked at the sectors and realized that, hey, a lot is going on and persons need equipment to grow the business. And we decided that we would come up with the opportunities for resilient businesses, innovation and transformation, the Orbit program. The Orbit program allows businesses to access up to $30 million to purchase equipment to increase their productivity. Again, it's at a low rate of 8%, up to 10 years, and your repayment periods are flexible. You can do monthly payment, quarterly payments, biannual payments, we can discuss, right? So DBJ, again, in that period, will roll out 2 products, which are my favorite products, based on the rate and what it's able to do for businesses. Now, what if you need more than $50 million, or what if you need more than $30 million? I'm here today to say you can access both. So with the 2 programs, Orbit and M5, you're able to access basically $80 million at 8% for 10 years. So we are doing what we can to deliver finance and access to finance for MSME operators. So earlier I spoke about the CEF. So I'll get into further details. The CEF is the Credit Enhancement Facility. It can provide collateral support up to $30 million. So just imagine you walk in to borrow a $40 million loan, and the DBJ is saying that we can provide collateral support for that loan up to $30 million. Isn't that great support? Isn't that opening access to finance that you would not otherwise have? That is what the DBJ is doing. And of course, for the smaller loan, somebody is going in and they want to borrow $11 million. We will do 90%. So you're actually getting more. And that's what the CF will do. So don't sit at home and saying, boy, I don't have the house and car to give the bank, so I can't get financing. Go and speak to them, ask them about the DBJ CEF, and we'll open the door for you. Now, with the heat wave that's going on, with the passing of Hurricane Melissa, and we realize that traditional means of generating energy are not what they used to be, are not able to be as efficient as they used to be. What am I talking about? So that grocery store that turned up, JPS was gone in Mobile for some time, and they're now running a generator. That fuel bill is 10x what they used to pay JPS. So now it's putting a pressure on the business. So we realize that fossil fuel is not the greatest solution to providing energy. So DBJ is stepping in again with the energy audit grant that allows businesses to acquire the service of an energy auditor to come in and carry out a proper energy audit. So we're not talking about when the solar man come and him look at 6 months JPS bill and him tell us that this is the size unit that you want. No, this is a professional that will come into your establishment. They'll look at what efficiencies can be gained even before sizing that unit. So your windows need to be sealed. Your AC units are not the most efficient. Your water pump is not the most efficient. You could use air curtains, etc. They will give you a full review and let you know what it is that can be done, and then tell you the sizing needed. So what does that do? That saves you a lot of money and not oversizing a solar system and being efficient. So DBJ will give you up to $200,000 towards that energy audit. And if you do choose funding through the DBJ, we can give you a cashback of up to $300,000 on the energy audit. So that will allow you $500,000 towards an energy audit. 2 upfront and as much as 300 cashback brings you to 500. Now, we spoke about the energy audit, so we must have energy loans. The DBJ is about to launch a campaign this summer. All right, you might have seen a teaser in the newspaper recently. So under our M5 recovery program, we're going to be providing energy solutions at that 8%, again up to $50 million, so that persons can build that resilience that we need to go forward. We're here and we're at this lovely hotel, but there are many other hotels, not just here in Jamaica. So we're competing with other nations, right? And if Jamaica is one of the highest energy costs, how can we compete? And I'm saying we can compete by the use of solar systems. So if you have not thought about it, I'm telling you, think about it. Majority of systems have a repayment in 3 years. So we're saying in 3 years you can get back your investment and start to save. In some cases, you can save immediately. Again, we urge you, if you want to know more, reach out to us for the energy audit. The professional can walk you through, and we will assist with that payment to our grant. Now, for residential customers, and that might sound a bit strange, DBJ supports businesses how we're talking about residential households. But of course, we want to be very climate resilient and to provide these solutions to help to mitigate these climate activities that we're seeing. So the DBJ will allow up to $5 million for residential customers to access solar PV systems. So again, we're on the business front, we're on the home front, and we're helping to create more resilient energy within the country. And to keep it short, how do you participate in all of this? What do I need to do for my company? You need to be registered and operating in Jamaica, and we have the company's office here. So if you haven't done that, you can do so now. You need to be tax compliant. So if there are any issues, we also have the TAJ here, so you can speak to them. And you need to be technically and financially viable. I've seen the JBDC here. They can help you with that, and I am here. I can help you with the financial viability. And of course, with any business transaction, you need to have some skin in the game, some equity, and we're saying that you need to have 20 to 30% equity in any project. And as simple as that, you have access to a DBJ solution. Now, that brings me pretty much to the end of my presentation. I know we're on time, so I hope I provided good knowledge within the short space of time left. All right, thank you. And if there are any questions, I'll be sitting in the back of the room. You can always approach me and I will discuss and I will assist you to grow your business today. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I can't see. All right, thank you. I know we have spent a good day. I mean, we're at a resort, so I'm sure some of us will stay over, right? It's important for us to also relax while we're working, eh? So, Exim Bank, our access to finance for public procurement opportunities, that's pretty much what the theme is in terms of this presentation. Next slide. Why the alignment? We realize that in order for you to be successful most times, you have to have a partnership. So a partnership for development where the presentation will highlight the strategic partnership between the PPC, Exim, and all the other stakeholders in the ecosystem. The public procurement matters because public procurement provides significant and reliable market for MSMEs to create jobs, business sustainability, and to grow revenues and profitability, right? The finance and capacity building, access to affordable financing is important to SMEs. Jason spoke extensively about all the things that DBJ offers, and we are partners as well. And importantly, our alignment will empower. This roadshow is to empower, is to educate, is to stimulate, is to do all the things right to support the SMEs so they can function well in the ecosystem. So simply put, the PPC opportunity is there. EXIM is here to provide the financing, and it's a gateway to complete the support system for the SMEs, and also to ensure that there are successful contracts delivery, because if you don't have money, then you can't complete the contracts, right? So we have a scale we're trying to balance. You know that EXIM is a bank, government-owned institution as well. We're not the traditional bank. We are direct lenders, B2B, so we go directly to businesses. So we're trying to balance our scale there. So we have the bricks. We all know we have to build the bricks, but in the middle of what you're seeing is missing is the SME that would balance the scale to ensure that the strategic alignment and the ecosystems work well for you guys. So it's important that we understand what the journey is. We have to start somewhere, and we have a goal, and we're going to finish somewhere. So you have to register your business, and we have been hearing that from all the previous presenters. You have to become procurement ready. You have to identify the opportunities that will make it well for you. Coming to us to secure financing will also ensure that you can get these approval, be able to submit the bids, be able to execute the contracts, and to start making money and to grow your business. And we see it as an opportunity where we're aligning ourselves with stakeholders, not just for us, but for the entire nation, where everybody will benefit. So what is EXIM about? Located at 85 Hope Road, we're accessible by phone calls, we're accessible by social media, we're accessible by our website. Our goal is to assist the growth and development of the productive sector through affordable financing and tailored financial solutions. We focus heavily on specific sectors, manufacturing, tourism, mining, to name a few, and all the linkages that are associated with each sector. Our support, we have been since 1986, have been providing tailored short-term, medium-term financial products to address both the working capital and the capital investment. So for example, importantly for contractors, contract mobilization is important. You also need equipment. You may need to improve your productivity capacity or production capacity in order for you to meet these new contracts that will be available to you. So we support the contractors through our capital expenditure, for your capital expenditures as well as your working capital. It could also include you getting motor vehicles to move your goods, move your workers, and just keep that business up and running. Improve your production capacity. You need additional inventory, we can help you. You need additional raw material, we can help you. You need contract mobilization, you need to give a guarantee, we can do these things for you. as contractors. What we have done is to look at some of the some of the specific needs that are specific needs and to kind of just design. As I say, we're trying to tailor it to meet the needs of everyone. So we look at designing products and services that we know will fit the specific procurement need that the business may have. We look at, for both our exporters and our contractors, we have our modernization fund, which is between $5 to $90 million, competitive fixed interest rates, a loan term up to 5 years. Anything capital focus, the acquisition of tools, you want to retool, you want to expand, you want to refurbish, you want to renovate, you want to buy equipment, you want to buy a motor vehicle. These are the things that this particular product line would assist you with. What is so key is that a lot of businesses find that cash flow is something that can either make or break a business. So while there is the time that you wait to be paid, especially when you extend services or goods and services on a credit, because technically that's what you do when you sit and wait for your payment. So what we have designed at EXIM is to give you access to at least 75% of those funds that you're sitting waiting on within 7 working days. Anywhere between 2 to 25 million. There are exceptions when we go lower, especially in the light of this special arrangement and looking at the 20% of the entire procurement opportunity to come to SMEs with. So you can come to us, no collateral, no financial is needed, competitive interest rate, less than 1% per month, would definitely assist companies to enable them to access funds in a timely manner, and then the buyers that are the persons that you have the contracts with, they will pay us. So we will wait on them for you. We live in a land where it's almost natural for us to wake up and see the sun almost every day. So we think it's important that energy cost is important to drive production. It's important for you to look at reducing your energy costs, also efficiency, also it's a backup plan. So if the grid is not giving you what you need, then you can actually make an investment in it to finance a solar project up to 85% financing, using the said equipment as collateral, 7.5% interest rate. The average time for payback is generally between 3 to 4 years, but we are giving you up to 7 years so you can have additional cash flow to expand your business as you move along. All right? Our medium-term facility is one that creates the opportunity for you to just have a budget-friendly, a strategic focus, and it just enables you to forecast confidently what your fixed payment and what your interest costs are going to be. So you look at anywhere from $1 million to $90 million, up to 7 years. We have interest rates as low as 4.5%. For those who are in the tourism space, and for those who are not, we have interest rate as low as 4.75%, subject to availability of funds, of course. Acceptable collaterals that we look at is to ensure that we spread it as wide as possible to include guarantees, receivables, equipment, motor vehicle, real estate, just to name a few. So in preparing for financing, not all applications may be successful, but if we have specific activities that we engage in, we can ensure some level of success for those submissions or credit applications that you may have. It's important to have a valid registration. COJ spoke about that. We look at financial statements just to understand the financial health of the business. We look at cash flow projections, realistic cash flow projections. What are those? Now you're engaging with PPC and getting government contracts, then we know definitely money is coming your way. So they're showing us those projections. Looking at the contracts, the award letters, those things kind of strengthen the credit application. The tax compliance, the COJ compliance is important. Also looking at your banking records, looking at your credit history, and just the overall operational capacity, viability, and sustainability. These are the things that make your application successful when you come to Exim Bank. All right. So the success factors is to look at your procurement readiness, to look at your financial management. Strong financial management and early engagement with your partners would ensure your success, right? Effective communication, make clear so you know you have all the information with the respective stakeholders from tax office, COJ, whether it be Exim, whether it be DBJ, JBDC. Just keep the communication open and effective. Sustainable participation, combining these factors will ensure your success and secure repeat opportunities in public procurement. So once you keep these things, you can continue to explore, you can continue to make well of the opportunities that will be provided through the PPC special provision of 20%. So what we are sure of is that the MSMEs are fundamental to the growth and success and the development of Jamaica. This partnership with all the stakeholders will lead to job creation. It will lead to economic, local, so macro and micro economic growth, so at your level and the overall in terms of the country. The financial inclusion expansion, we're expanding access to formal financing enhances financial inclusion for you and across Jamaica. So a system is developed, become a part of it, become a part of the ecosystem so you can access funding. Strengthening our competitiveness as a nation, it will boost economic growth, people getting more opportunity, creating wealth, increase sustainability and growth. So we want to step up, we want to engage with the key institutions. We see a few of them today. We want to become, the SMEs should be procurement ready. We want your records to be in place so you can access financing for expansion and to grow and to scale, and commitment to integrity where this session is to reinforce the integrity of whatever is proposed, the accountability and the long-term development for our delivery on making our SMEs great and making Jamaica even greater. So I want to thank you for your attention and for your time. I'm not sure if there are any questions. We are here. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Hopeton Nicholson and Mr. Jason Ferguson. We are running way behind, so I'm going to hold our questions until the end. And so, yes, gentlemen, you may leave as well. All right, give them another round of applause, please. Okay, and I now invite Ms. Kiro Walters, who is the Assistant Manager of Business Advisory Service with Jamaica Business Development Corporation, JBDC, and Ms. Shanique Edwards, Sales and Promotions Manager, Agribusiness Exports with JAMPRO, to make your way to the stage now. I know it's not fair to the last batswomen. They may have to cut theirs shorter than those before them, but since time is going and people's attention span is waning as well, do what you can to keep it short and spicy. Give them a round of applause.
Good afternoon, thank you. All right, so I think the rationale for why this workshop is necessary has been made quite well by all the previous speakers. I might say ditto to almost everything that they have said so far. And I want to start off by asking you, do you consider yourself lucky? Who, just show me your hands. Lucky, blessed. Okay, so we've heard the word opportunity thrown around extensively today. And my next question to you is, do you consider yourself prepared? Are you ready? All right, I don't see as many hands. And that's fair. I like that you're being honest with yourselves and you're being honest with me, because that's what I want to talk to you about. Minister Favour spoke about, she said something about there being, to give a scenario of a house or a building with billions of dollars in there. And the opportunity that you have is likened to being in that building with billions of dollars at your access. I represent the Jamaica Business Development Corporation. I don't know how many of you know this organization. Can show me your hands. Okay, decent. That's nice. And you should know that within the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce, which is the business ministry now tagged, we are the agency mandated with the holistic support of MSMEs. We are here for holistic business development from concept to market, as we often say. And how do we fit in? We are here to ensure that you get ready. All of those requirements that you heard earlier, what we offer in terms of strategy support, assessment of your business, and preparing you with an action plan to close whatever gaps there are in your business will allow you to meet the compliance requirements that you heard about, meet the preparedness in terms of having your financials, your statements, knowing what your performance is, ensuring that you have the capacity to actually deliver and to actually take that first step of even being eligible to be on the registry. That's what JBDC does. We have quite a few sayings in Jamaica about lucky. We often say we salt when things not going our way. And you know, when something happens good, something that's good happens, we say we're lucky. Some might say we're blessed. But I want to take you from that kind of thinking, even if you want to still have it, but to move your step further to being prepared. Because luck, the people who are prepared, they make luck out of opportunity. You and another person can be at the same place, have the same set of assets, same set of resources, same circumstances, but that one difference in your thinking and your approach can make the difference in whether or not one of you moves along that continuum from micro to small to medium. You can start at the same place, but if one of you considers yourself to just have life happen and the opportunities come and is only if luck on your side, it's going to happen for you, then I don't want you to be on that side of it. Fair enough? Okay. So there's an abundance, over 2 billion at the minimum that's available for you. I would like you to move. Oh, you weren't moving with me. I know I'm not necessarily following it. We don't need to. I want you to think about, go back to that one, just for a quick second. Procurement or readiness starts long before the buyer calls. So think about if you were to hear of an opportunity that was worth 20 million tomorrow. Think about whether or not you could even begin to approach it. You don't have to tell me. Think about if you can, what would make it possible, and if you can't, why not? Think about it and hold it. Let's move. Why do you want to think of procurement? It's been said already, but procurement is not just a revenue strategy. It's also an opportunity for growth, and I think that has been established somewhat. It's also a way to diversify to strengthen your business model by diversifying your customer base. Even when you are small, if you can have one contract at a micro business, let me go back to the true definition. One contract can be that anchor that allows you to experiment with your business model enough to diversify your customer base, because that is also a risk when you only have one type of customer or one customer, which is the case for a lot of businesses. You're in a vulnerable position when that happens. So you can think of this as also a strategy to strengthen your business model. It is almost like that constant cash that comes in to feed you as you are growing. And that is why you don't have to be mature, you don't have to be existing for a large number of years before you start thinking about readiness. I'd encourage you to put the systems, the processes in place before. Include it in your strategic planning such that it is something that you are working towards even before you're ready. I think Minister said, don't hold me correctly, but I think she said there's only 1.7 billion was accessed. I'm not sure if I tried to write them down as she was talking by MSMEs. And I don't know, I hope some of you accessed some of it. 4,900 suppliers, she said, participated. There are estimated 440,000 MSMEs in Jamaica. That's a tiny percentage. We can do better. Another number I want you to bear in mind. We, MSMEs, contribute 44% GDP. We can do a lot more than that if we participated more. One of the reasons why there isn't more on that list, the few that may approach it get rejected because of incomplete data. They are not able to meet the compliance requirements. They have expired documents. They don't have financial statements. They don't have references that they can call on to back them up. They don't have any kind of formal systems. They don't know the costing and pricing properly, so they can't present accurate cash flow, can't present projections that make sense. They can't develop a good proposal. If you don't have the systems in place early, you won't be able to do these things. And so that is what we want to do in order to be prepared. You can move. So I want you to remember this acronym, READY. And what it stands for is ensuring that you are registered appropriately. You heard about those things today. Ensure that you are equipped efficiently and comprehensively. That's speaking to your capacity. You can move to the next slide. It's explained here. You're registered appropriately, you have all the right documentations, your operations, meaning equipped, and your delivery systems are in place. You have standard operating procedures such that your quality is consistent. You don't get a big order and then you can't fulfill it because you don't have systems in place. Your administration, your records keeping, whether you are digitized or not, imagine trying to handle business with paper in today's day and age. Your teams, your organizational structure, whether you have an IT framework that supports what you're doing, your financial readiness with the D, We heard about that just now from the gentleman speaking from the financial institutions, how there's so much money available for you to access. But if you are not ready, you won't be able to. If you don't have the financial statements, if you don't have the records to prepare the financial statements, you're stuck again. It's not about luck. It's about preparedness. It's not magic. It is about knowing what you need to do and taking the steps to do them. And why, the final one in the ready, is your reputation. You ought to be thinking about building a reputation. It's not just for big companies that build corporate reputation with social responsibility. It don't have to be that fancy. It's about your networking. You heard about that. You may not be on the registry, but are you coming to events like this? Are you networking in the business sphere so that people can know about you? Right? Do you ensure that your relationships are being managed properly? You can go ahead. And to just wrap things up with the interest of time, JBDC is the bridge for the gaps that exist in your business. We provide thorough, in-depth assessments of your business, whether you are small, whether you're just starting, whether you're micro, whether you're idea, or whether you are well established. We have holistic systems, technical services, business strategy, access to finance, market access support, and we have also connections to a network of all the other agencies, consultants, and so on that can provide you with more specific and targeted interventions where needed. So, if you don't know, we have offices island-wide. You can move. Right, we have island-wide coverage, and you can go to our website at jbdc.net to find out where our locations are at. But on this side of the island, we have covering Westmoreland and Lucy, an office in Savlamar. We have for St. James, an office in Fairview Center. And for St. Anne and St. Mary, we have an office at the Wormsville Investigation and Security Consultancy premises on 5 Church Street. And those are the numbers that you can reach, but you don't have to worry about that. Just go to www.jbdc.net and you'll have access to all of this contact information and a lot more details about what it is that we do. And I would like to just remind you that today could be an opportune day, a lucky day, or a great day for some of you. But that depends on whether or not you are deciding to be lucky or prepared and ready. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Let me see a show of hands, the persons who are in the agribusiness space. I'm just seeing one. Persons in the agribusiness space, do you produce a food and beverage product? Okay, awesome. All right, now, even though my presentation was initially tailored for persons in the agribusiness space, a lot of what I'll be sharing today is also applicable to those in the services industry, as well as the non-food manufacturing space. Can you go ahead? All right, so we won't be going through, in interest of time, we won't be going through every slide. We'll be spending most of our time on the considerations for you as you prepare for exports. Now, a little bit on JAMPRO. Now, JAMPRO is the Government of Jamaica's Export and Investment Promotions and Facilitations Organization as it pertains to the Exports Division, or you can go back. Our function includes promoting Jamaica as an ideal destination for sourcing high-quality products, as well as to strengthen and support export-ready companies with finding markets, and we facilitate business matches with overseas buyers. Go ahead. Next slide. So we're not going to be spending much time. These are the key contributors on the first side. You can take a picture if you'd like. And on the process side, these are the key contributors to Jamaica's GDP. Next slide. Let's take a look at some global trends and outlook for the space. Again, I'll be highlighting the ones that will be applicable regardless of whether you're in agribusiness or non-food manufacturing or services. Now, the first one that I'd like to highlight for you is convenience. Now, convenience is a big trend that we're seeing, and we don't expect this to change in the upcoming future. Consumers are looking for products and services that satisfy a need, solves a problem, and also provide some level of convenience. Next, on the list of global trends and outlook, social media and digital discovery. Now, this is increasingly influencing how persons purchase, and it is important for you to not only establish social media presence, but also maintain your social media presence, because this will be the first place that any overseas buyer will look to get a sense as to what your brand is like and how consumers are engaging with your products as well as service. Okay, let's go into the meat of the matter. All right, we're going to be looking at the key considerations. You can just tap one more time so that yes, perfect. All right, let's keep it there. All right, okay, now in preparation for you winning in the world of exports, it's important for you to bear these in mind, and it actually spells win, because we want to win when it comes down to export. First consideration, walking into exports with a business mindset. So exports is not baby business. It requires preparation, and my colleagues would have alluded to all that is required in order for you to really assess whether or not you are truly ready. Now, for you to walk into exports with a business mindset, it is important for you to have a business plan. Now, a business plan, it does not have to be a 50-page document. A lot of persons, when they hear business plan, they automatically just shut down and say, oh, this is too much for me. But a business plan is really your map. It's your guide in order for you to ensure that you are on track with what it is that you set out to with the venture, whether it is in food and beverage manufacturing, services, or non-food manufacturing. It's also important for you to establish and adhere to proper accounts management systems. And one of the mistakes that a lot of our small companies, small and medium-sized companies often make is to mistake revenues for profits. But that's not the case. Your revenues are not profits. So financial discipline will be especially important for you, especially as you are now leaving the border and engaging with an overseas partner. Assessing your readiness to commence exporting. Now, I want you to ask yourself this question. Once it is that you want to take that step and start exporting, can I fulfill an order? If I am supposed to fulfill an order, what is too large an order for me? If you are not honest with yourself, then you run the risk of really sabotaging your own business. So you have to ask yourself, what am I capable of producing? If it is that I am in a contract with an overseas buyer and things are going well, and the buyer said, you know, I want to up my order, you then need to ask yourself, all right then, am I able to increase my order without sacrificing or without sabotaging my other existing contracts? Next in the considerations, the I, which is investing in a strong export market strategy. It's important for you to understand that it's not just key for you to say, okay, I'd like to export my products to the US or to Canada, or I'd like to tap into this particular market with my service. No two markets are the same. In fact, say for instance you are targeting Florida, you may find that based on where exactly you're targeting in Florida, you may have to tweak your export or your market entry strategy in order for you to get to the right buyers and get to the right consumers in that market. Assessing and developing your value proposition. Remember, we're not the only ones trying to attract and trying to contract a buyer overseas. So it's important for us to get a good sense as to what sets our products apart from everybody else who is trying to compete for the attention of the buyer, as well as the service that you're trying to export. What sets your service apart? It's important for you to have that ironed down. So even if you get an opportunity and you have 30 seconds to sell your product and your brand to that buyer, you're able to confidently sell what makes you worthy of being considered. Allocating adequate resources to promotion, marketing, and maintaining an active online presence. One of the budget line items that persons often cut when things get really rough is marketing. And we're advising you not to do that. It's important for you to allocate adequate resources and make it work. Marketing is what let the world know that you are open for business. It's almost as you can almost refer to it as the heart of the business. Lastly, narrowing the gap to export readiness by assessing resources. We heard from quite a lot of stakeholders today, and these are the resources that are at your disposal, and we encourage you to reach out to them in order for you to close any gaps that are identified when you do your assessment of your export readiness. Now, JBDC offers that service, and JAMPRO also have a dedicated team called the Exporter Facilitation Department. They also support with identifying if there are any gaps that would need to be addressed in order for you to truly be export ready. Confirming your routes to market, including associated costs and timelines. Now, my colleague would have mentioned that sometimes companies, they are unable to price their products and services. They have no idea what the cost is to produce a single unit. It is important for you to have that down pat before you engage with a buyer, as once you are in front of that buyer, they expect you to fluently and confidently say what your price is. And if it is that you are in a negotiation stage, then you're able to say, all right then, I ideally wanted to sell them this for 1,000 US dollars. But if I go down to 990, I'm still safe. It won't impact on my margin too greatly. But if you don't know what the cost of production is for your product, then you're going to be in a position where you probably say, okay, 800, I'll accept 800, only to find out in the end that, wow, I made a loss. Lastly, paying attention to packaging, labeling, and branding. Now, intellectual property protection is absolutely important and a must do before you enter the world of exports. Now, everybody loves Brand Jamaica, and if you travel, you'll see that there are a lot of fake Jamaican products that you may find on the shelves. And it is important for you to protect your trademark. as well as your design, your formula as best as possible before you enter the world of exports. Now, you have several entities outside of the ones who would have presented today that are here to support you. You had the Trade Board, JBDC was here today. You also have the Bureau of Standards Jamaica that stand ready to support you, as well as the Jamaica Intellectual Property Office. They are also located on the JAMPRO building, and they're here to guide you as it relates to protecting your intellectual property. And intellectual property is not just goods, it's also anything that is your idea. Next slide. Let's take a look at the services, JAMPRO services, and this is in regards to how we support export-ready companies, and we do so through partnership. We like to consider ourselves your partners on your export journey. Next slide. Oh, yes, this one. Now, the services that I'm going to be speaking to right now, they are the same services or similar services offered by our non-food manufacturing and extractive exports department at JAMPRO. So we have inward missions. Now, inward missions is where we would have engaged with a buyer, and based on their interest in sourcing products and services from Jamaica, we will then develop a huge itinerary for this buyer, and we'll engage with the companies that suits the buyer's interest and facilitate that B2B meeting with between the companies. Outward missions, we'll coordinate trade missions to priority export markets where we facilitate B2Bs with buyers in their markets. And we also participate in trade shows. Here, we will lead a delegation of Jamaican companies to exhibit at a trade fair. You may have heard about the ministerial missions that have been led by Minister Hill. Here, you have companies from numerous sectors, food, non-food, services, you name it. As long as in your export strategy and your business strategy, you have an interest in servicing a buyer that is overseas, then it's an opportunity for you to participate in those missions. And of course, we have our routine day-to-day business matchmaking where, based on inquiries from buyers coming into JAMPRO, we would then reach out to companies that we know and believe demonstrate the capacity to really serve that buyer, and we'll facilitate that introduction. Next slide. We're there, guys. We're there. All right. So exports really presents opportunities for companies, and you don't have to be a large company to export. In fact, most of our clients are considered small and medium-sized exporters, and I'm telling you, they are performing well. They are getting the opportunities, and this is an opportunity for you to consider, based on your business model, if this is something that is worth exploring. If you need additional information on how you can assess the gaps that may exist in your company and just strengthen your readiness for exports, you can reach out to us at info@dobusinessjamaica.com. You can also visit us on our LinkedIn page at JAMPRO Corp. Our website is dobusinessjamaica.com, and our Instagram page is at dobizja. No, I'm actually hopeful that the information that I would have provided provides you with some optimism as it relates to exports, and I hope that any doubts or any concerns that you may have had before as it pertains to, you feeling like maybe it's just too big for you, I hope that the information shared alleviated some of that concern or discomfort, because exports really offers a wealth of opportunities for our companies, and we stand ready to support you. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your patience. And you have been a good audience. Yes. Also, I just want to thank our last two presenters, Ms. Shanique Edwards of JAMPRO and Ms. Kira Walters of JBDC. Give them a round of applause, please. Okay, so before we go, we have some goodies to give away. And this one comes to us from JAMPRO. What are some key considerations, or should I say, just tell me one key consideration? You can't stay there and shout, you know. And I hope you're not JAMPRO people there? No. Okay. You have to come up to the podium or the stage. Give me one key consideration for doing business. No, for preparing for export. Sorry, one key consideration for preparing for export. You have to do the details. Where are you from?
All right, St. James, Synergy Training and Consultancy. Walking into export with a business mindset. I could give you I and N too, but no.
So give her a round of applause. Stay here. Can you take a gift off the table? Thank you. And another one, no, that's fine. This one, is there anybody here from Tax Administration Jamaica? Still? Okay, the question is, what is the duration of a gold TCC? What is the duration of a gold tax compliance certificate? I don't want any shout-outs, you know.
1 year or 12 months.
Okay. I have to say the other
Okay. My name is Audia, and I'm representing Green Pastures in Hanover.
All right. Give her a round of applause. I don't think we had a Hanover winner before.
Or 1 year. 12 months or 1 year.
This now is let me see. Can anyone tell me what is the name of the PPC branch which deals with registering for a PPC certificate? Which branch in the Public Procurement Commission deals with registering for a Public Procurement Commission certificate, your PPC certificate, which you need to do business with the government of Jamaica? Nobody coming to answer this? No, man. You have to come to the podium. Somebody from supply registration, can you come up and do the presentation? What's the name of the branch?
I'm not a partner. Go, Jeb. My name is Diane Compass, and my business is Cleaning Caddy Pro Cleaners and the St. James. Go, Jeb. It's not Go, Jeb? Oh, my God.
Anybody else? What's the name of the branch which deals with registering persons for your PPC certificate? The PPC branch that deals with that. All right. Hey. What parish? Too much St. James in about. Come.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Petrona, and I'm representing Eco Construction. And the answer, OMG. Yes, I don't know. Supplier registration branch.
In fact, I gave it away and nobody picked it up. Mr. Black, could you present? Just take one of the prizes. One. All right. And the final prize here now. No, not necessarily, but. Can anyone say what is the legislation that guides PPC or got PPC to come into being? What law? You can't sit down there and win the prize, though, you know. That's not hard. I don't think I give you a hard one. You did something else. Nobody? Should I change the question? Somebody's coming? They Googled it. Oh. Is this St. James again? The St. James clique keep winning the things, you know, man? Sure.
Peace again, Graham from Eagle Creative Solutions, Public Procurement Act.
There's something else on it. There's something. There's a year on it.
What's the year?
Yeah, you can't clap her. You have to say the details before.
Hello, my name is Chantal Lindo. I'm the co-owner of Royal Flush Plumbing. I'm from Ochiraya, St. Anne. Public Procurement Act of 2015.
Yes, correct. All right, congratulations. Miss Garden Parish in the house. All right, give her a round of applause again. I want to thank all our virtual as well as in-house audience for journeying with us through these long hours. We hope you found the information presented here today engaging, insightful, and useful for growing your business and expanding your business. I want to encourage you, if you have not done so, to register with the Public Procurement Commission, and you can do that online by going onto the GoJEP platform, as Mr. Black spoke earlier, and registering anywhere, anytime, and from any place. And I hope if you have any questions, you can still call us. Our helpline is 807-3154. That's 876-807-3154. Or you can send us an email at srs@ppc.gov.jm. srs@ppc.gov.jm. Were there any questions from the audience before we leave? Is there? Well, everybody's tired and want to go home. So thank you. Just give yourself a round of applause. Have a good evening.
you.